There's a feeling, subtle yet profound, that you can't quite shake. It's not loud or insistent. It's more like a whisper at the edge of your awareness, pulling you towards something unseen. It often comes in quiet moments, when the world slows down and you're left with your thoughts. It's the sense that your life as it is isn't the full story. Somewhere deep within, a question lingers. It's not a question you ask out loud, but it pulses in the back of your mind. Is there more to who I am? The pull of this question isn't random. It's a signal. And the strangest part? It doesn't feel like it's coming from somewhere far away. It feels as though it's coming from you. This subtle tug often appears as fleeting glimpses of something just beyond your grasp. A choice you didn't make but can't stop thinking about. A version of yourself you can almost see, living a different life. Maybe it's a thought about the road you didn't take, the person you didn't become, or the dream you never pursued. It's not regret, it's recognition. A part of you knows that other possibilities exist. And in that realization, something stirs. You've likely felt it before. The strange sense that somewhere, in some version of reality, there's another you. Not an abstract idea or a daydream, but something real, tangible, alive. And what's more, this other version of you seems to know something important, something you can't yet name. It's the call of the unknown. It's the opening chapter to a story that stretches beyond the limits of what you've been taught to believe. And while you may not understand the source of this feeling, one thing is certain. It's not random. It's an invitation. And so, the question becomes, will you listen? Reality is vast, vaster than the mind can fully comprehend. What you see, touch, and experience every day is only a sliver of what exists. Beneath the surface of the familiar lies a truth that feels almost too extraordinary to grasp. Every choice, every thought, every action you take ripples outward, creating branches of possibility. Think about the simplest decision. What to eat for breakfast, which route to take to work, whether to say yes to an opportunity or let it pass. With every decision, paths split and multiply. Somewhere, in an unseen layer of existence, different versions of you walk those untaken paths. Each one is living out the consequences of the choices you didn't make, shaping lives that feel both distant and inexplicably connected to the one you know. Science whispers this truth through the language of quantum physics. At its core, reality isn't fixed. It's fluid, unfolding in a field of infinite possibilities. Particles, the building blocks of everything, exist in multiple states at once until observed. It's as though the universe holds every potential reality, waiting for consciousness to choose which one becomes real. But there's another layer, a more personal one. Spirituality teaches that each thought you think, each emotion you feel, carries its own vibration, creating realities that align with those energies. The paths you don't walk don't vanish. They remain, as living possibilities, spinning out into alternate versions of the universe. Versions where you said yes when you could have said no. Where you moved to that city. Where you took the risk, embraced the dream, or followed the road less traveled. This is the universe of infinite possibilities. It's not just a concept. It's a living, breathing truth. And within this boundless space, every version of you exists. Some are thriving, living lives filled with purpose, joy, and peace. Others struggle, grappling with challenges that feel insurmountable. Yet all of them, all these countless yous, are deeply connected. Threads of energy, woven through the fabric of existence, tie you to these other realities. And those other versions of you, they aren't silent. Their experiences, their wisdom, their lessons, they're reaching out, nudging, guiding. If you're quiet enough, still enough, you can sense it. Because in this infinite expanse, the boundaries between what is and what could be aren't as solid as they seem. It starts subtly, a fleeting moment, a feeling that brushes against your awareness like a whisper on the wind. You might not notice it at first, brushing it off as coincidence or a trick of the mind. But the signs are there, waiting for you to pay attention. Maybe it happens when you're walking down a familiar street, and suddenly you feel like you've been there before. Not just in the sense of memory, but in a deeper, more unshakable way. It's not the street itself, but the moment that feels like it's already happened. This sensation, déjà vu, isn't just a strange mental glitch. It might be something far more profound, a glimpse into a parallel reality. There are other signs, too, ones that tug at you in different ways. Think of those moments when something falls into place almost too perfectly, a random event that feels meant to be. Perhaps it's a series of numbers you keep seeing over and over in ways that defy logic. A clock reads 11:11 every time you glance at it. A certain word or symbol keeps showing up in conversations, in books, in songs. These synchronicities feel too purposeful to be accidental. And then there are the dreams. Vivid, colorful, more real than anything you've ever experienced while awake. You find yourself in places you've never been, yet somehow know. You meet people who feel deeply familiar, even though you've never seen their faces before. These dreams linger long after you wake, as if they're trying to tell you something, showing you glimpses of a life that feels just out of reach. Sometimes the signs aren't external. Sometimes they rise from within, a sudden, overwhelming feeling of knowing. You can't explain it, but you feel certain about a choice, a direction, a truth. You sense, deep in your core, that this inner voice is coming from somewhere beyond the mind. It's not logic. It's something else, intuition, or perhaps a message from another version of yourself. Each of these signs is a thread, connecting your current reality to something greater. It's as if the universe, or a version of you in another timeline, is sending out ripples, hoping you'll notice, hoping you'll follow. The question isn't whether the signs exist. The question is whether you'll let yourself see them. You're going about your day, immersed in the routine. Then something happens, small, subtle, yet undeniably strange. Maybe you glance at your phone, and there it is, 11:11. You don't think much of it until it happens again, and again. The same pattern appears on receipts, license plates, and clocks, as if the universe itself is nudging you. Or perhaps it's a word, a symbol, a song that seems to follow you. You overhear it in a conversation between strangers. It shows up in a random advertisement. Someone texts you, and there it is again. At first, it feels coincidental, but deep down, you sense there's something more. It feels deliberate, as if a thread is being woven through your reality, drawing your attention to something you can't yet fully grasp. These moments are synchronicities, meaningful coincidences that defy explanation. They're subtle whispers from the universe, guiding you, aligning you with something greater. And they often appear when you're at a crossroads, a moment in life when a decision is waiting to be made. Consider this: a version of you in another reality has already walked the path you're hesitating to take. That version of you knows the terrain, the challenges, the rewards. And perhaps, in some mysterious way, they're sending signals to help you see the possibilities ahead. But synchronicities don't just appear to guide, they also confirm. When you're on the right track, they light up your path like breadcrumbs leading you home. You might meet the exact person you needed to talk to, or stumble across the perfect book at the perfect time. You'll feel it in your gut. This was meant for me. These signs aren't always loud or obvious. They're gentle, almost playful, like a nudge from an old friend. But the more you notice them, the more they multiply. It's as if the universe rewards your attention by showing you even more. And as you begin to follow these clues, you realize they're more than just coincidences. They're a dialogue. The question isn't whether the universe is speaking to you, it always is. The question is whether you'll listen, whether you'll trust the quiet, magical language of synchronicities. You close your eyes, and the world around you fades. In its place, a vast and limitless space unfolds, vivid, mysterious, and alive. Dreams aren't merely a product of the subconscious. They're something far more profound. They are portals, bridging the gap between what you know and what lies just beyond your reach. In your dreams, you find yourself in places you've never been, yet they feel like home. You encounter people whose faces you don't recognize, but their presence feels undeniable, as if you've known them forever. There's a texture to these experiences that lingers when you wake, leaving you questioning whether they were simply dreams or something more. What if these dreams are more than random fragments of thought? What if they're glimpses into other realities, windows into the lives of your parallel selves? In one dream, you may see yourself thriving in a life that feels impossibly perfect. In another, you might face challenges that feel distant yet deeply personal. Each of these dreams carries a message, a piece of the puzzle waiting to be understood. Sometimes the dreams are so vivid they feel real. You can smell the air, feel the texture of the ground beneath your feet, hear voices with a clarity that defies logic. These are not ordinary dreams. They are visits. A part of you is crossing into another timeline, exploring a version of existence that runs parallel to your own. Then there are the lucid dreams, moments when you realize within the dream that you are dreaming. In these rare instances, you gain control. You can ask questions, explore places, and interact with the world as if you're fully awake. It's in these lucid moments that the veil between realities thins the most. The messages become clearer, the connections undeniable. Pay attention to the symbols. A recurring location might be more than a random setting. It could represent a crossroads in your own life. A figure in your dream might not be a stranger but another version of you, offering wisdom born from experiences you've yet to live. When you wake, the details may slip through your fingers like sand, but their essence stays. They're not just dreams. They're guides, urging you to listen, to trust, and to explore the paths they reveal. The question isn't whether dreams are portals. The question is whether you're ready to step through and discover what's waiting on the other side. There's a moment when logic fades into the background and something deeper takes over. It's not a thought, not a conclusion you arrived at, but a knowing. It rises within you, calm yet certain, like a voice that speaks without words. This is intuition, a bridge between what you consciously know and the vast, unseen web of realities that surround you. It doesn't shout. It doesn't explain itself. It whispers, nudges, urges. You've felt it before, haven't you? That inexplicable pull toward a decision that didn't make sense at the time but turned out to be exactly right. Or the hesitation that saved you from making a mistake you couldn't have foreseen. It's as if a part of you, one that knows more than you do, was guiding you. This inner voice is more than instinct. It's a connection, a signal from the versions of you that exist in parallel realities. These versions have walked paths you haven't yet taken. They've faced the challenges you're only now approaching. And sometimes they send back echoes, flashes of insight to guide you forward. Have you ever felt drawn to a decision without understanding why? A job, a relationship, a sudden change of direction? That pull wasn't random. It was a message. A version of you in another timeline, one that's already taken that leap, is urging you to follow. It knows what you'll gain, what you'll grow into if you trust the path. But intuition isn't always about what to do. Sometimes it's about what to avoid. You've likely had moments when something felt wrong. An opportunity that looked perfect on paper but filled you with unease, or a situation that seemed fine but made your stomach tighten. That's your intuition, too. Another version of you has lived the consequences of that choice and is quietly warning you to step away. The beauty of intuition is that it doesn't rely on proof. It bypasses analysis, cutting straight to the truth. But to hear it clearly, you must learn to trust it. The more you listen, the louder it becomes. And the more you act on it, the more aligned your life becomes with the reality you're meant to live. Intuition isn't a gift reserved for a few. It's a natural part of you, a compass pointing toward your highest potential. It's the touch of something infinite, reaching across timelines to remind you that you're never truly alone. The question isn't whether you have intuition. The question is whether you'll follow it when it calls. There are moments when the world feels off. Everything around you looks the same, yet it doesn't feel quite right. A familiar street feels foreign. A conversation seems slightly out of sync. You can't explain it, but the sense of displacement is undeniable, as though you've stepped into a version of your life that isn't entirely your own. This feeling doesn't announce itself with fanfare. It creeps in quietly, leaving you questioning what's real and what isn't. You might walk into a room you've entered 100 times before, only to feel as though you're seeing it for the first time. Or you'll catch yourself thinking, this isn't how it's supposed to be, even though nothing appears to have changed. These moments of disconnection, when reality feels like it's shifted ever so slightly, aren't random. They're glimpses of something larger evidence that the boundaries between your world and another are thinner than you've been led to believe. What if, for a brief moment, your consciousness is brushing up against a parallel reality? A timeline where things unfolded just a little differently. Perhaps in that version you made a different choice, took a different path, and now you're feeling the echo of that alternate life. Can be unsettling, this sense that you're not fully rooted in the present. But it's also a sign that your awareness is expanding, that you're becoming attuned to the subtle layers of existence. The displacement you feel isn't a mistake. It's a clue. It's as if the universe is saying, pay attention. There's more to see here. Some describe this sensation as a glitch, as though the fabric of reality itself has momentarily faltered. But perhaps it's not a glitch at all. Perhaps it's a reminder that reality isn't fixed. It's fluid, dynamic, and constantly shifting in response to your thoughts, choices, and energy. These moments invite you to pause, to reflect. What might they be trying to tell you? Are they asking you to reconsider your path, to align yourself more fully with the life you're meant to live? Or are they simply showing you that reality is far more complex and far more magical than it seems? The question isn't whether reality sometimes feels displaced. The question is what you'll do when it does. Everything in the universe vibrates. From the tiniest particle to the largest star, nothing is ever truly still. And your thoughts, your emotions, your very essence are no exception. Every choice you make, every feeling you hold, carries its own unique frequency, radiating out into the universe like ripples in a vast cosmic ocean. When you're aligned with the right frequency, life seems to flow effortlessly. Opportunities come your way, connections feel meaningful, and there's a sense of harmony with the world around you. But when you're out of tune, everything feels heavy, resistant, and out of place. The frequency you emit determines which version of reality you align with, whether it's one filled with joy, growth, and abundance, or one marked by struggle and stagnation. To align with the reality you desire, the first step is understanding that your energy is malleable. It isn't fixed or permanent. It shifts based on your thoughts, your actions, and the emotions you nurture. Gratitude, for example, raises your vibration instantly. When you focus on the good in your life, you emit a frequency that attracts even more positivity. Similarly, acts of kindness, forgiveness, and compassion elevate your energy, connecting you to higher possibilities. But alignment isn't just about thinking positively. It's about being intentional with every part of your life. The foods you eat, the people you surround yourself with, the habits you cultivate, all of these influence your frequency. A nourishing meal, a walk in nature, a conversation that lights you up, each one raises your energy. Conversely, negativity, self-doubt, and toxic environments pull you into lower vibrations, making it harder to connect with the life you truly want. Meditation is one of the most powerful tools for aligning with the right frequency. In the stillness, you can quiet the noise of the outside world and tune in to the energy within. Visualization takes this even further. When you close your eyes and see yourself already living the life you desire, you begin to vibrate at the frequency of that reality. You create a bridge, drawing it closer with every focused thought and emotion. The key is consistency. A single moment of gratitude or meditation won't transform your life overnight, but daily, intentional practices create a powerful momentum. Each small shift brings you closer to the version of yourself that exists in harmony, abundance, and peace. The truth is, the reality you want already exists. It's waiting for you, vibrating at a frequency you can reach. And the more you align yourself, the more you realize the power to create that reality has always been within you. The question isn't whether you can align with the right frequency. The question is whether you'll take the first step toward it today. The signs have been there: déjà vu, synchronicities, dreams, intuition. Each one a piece of a larger puzzle, a whisper from a parallel version of you. But signs alone mean little without action. The real transformation begins when you take what you've been given and weave it into the fabric of your life. Integration isn't always loud or dramatic. It starts small in the quiet moments of awareness. Perhaps it's the way you respond to an opportunity, trusting your intuition instead of overthinking. or the decision to finally act on a dream you've put off, one that keeps reappearing in vivid dreams or moments of synchronicity. These are the moments when you say yes not just to a choice, but to the version of yourself that's been calling you forward. Think of the messages as breadcrumbs, each one leading you closer to the life you're meant to live. The synchronicities you notice aren't random. They're invitations to explore. When a number or symbol keeps appearing, stop and reflect. What were you thinking or feeling in that moment? What decisions lie ahead? Trust that the universe and the parallel version of you are guiding you to something important. Dreams, too, are not to be dismissed. A recurring dream of a place, a person, or a scenario might be pointing you toward a path worth pursuing. Take the time to write these dreams down, reflect on their themes, and consider how they align with your waking life. You might discover they're showing you not just what's possible, but what's already within reach. Integration also means paying attention to the subtle shifts in your behavior. Have you felt drawn to new habits, interests, or ways of thinking? Those sudden changes might not be so sudden after all. They could be reflections of a parallel version of you, projecting their energy into your current reality. Follow those impulses. Lean into the hobbies, routines, or practices that feel like they're pulling you towards something greater. But most importantly, integration requires trust. Trust in the process. Trust in yourself. Trust that these messages are here for a reason. You don't need to understand every sign immediately. Some will make sense only in hindsight, revealing their wisdom as you move forward. This is the beauty of integration. It's not about changing everything at once. It's about making small, intentional shifts that align you more closely with the reality you desire. It's about recognizing that each step, no matter how small, is a step toward the version of you that already exists, thriving in another timeline. The question isn't whether you're receiving messages. The question is whether you'll let them guide you into the life that's been waiting for you all along. You've walked through the signs, the whispers, the nudges from a universe that's far more expansive than you once believed. You've felt the pull of synchronicities, the quiet voice of intuition, the vivid dreams that linger long after waking. With each step, you've pieced together fragments of a story about possibility, connection, and the infinite nature of who you are. But now the journey shifts. It's not about discovering anymore. It's about becoming. The you that began this journey isn't the same as the you standing here now. Something has changed. You've started to see the world differently. You've felt the invisible threads tying your choices, thoughts, and energy to versions of yourself that exist just beyond the veil of this reality. And as you've followed those threads, you've realized something profound. The power to shape your life has been within you all along. The journey back isn't about returning to the person you once were. It's about carrying what you've learned into every moment that lies ahead. You've seen glimpses of other versions of yourself, ones who have overcome the challenges you face, who are thriving, who are aligned with their purpose. Those versions of you aren't separate. They're not unreachable. They're echoes of the potential you hold right now. Every sign, every message, every vibration you've aligned with has led you here, to a place where the boundaries between who you are and who you could be feel thinner than ever. The choices you make now matter. Each thought, each action, each intention is a step toward the life you want to create. But more than that, you've discovered something even greater. You are never truly alone. Across timelines, across realities, there are infinite versions of you, connected, guiding, learning from one another. The choices you make ripple outward, influencing not just your path but the paths of those countless versions. So as you step forward, know this: the journey isn't over. It never truly ends. Each day is a chance to tune into the frequencies of the life you desire. Each moment is an opportunity to choose a path that aligns with your highest potential. You've returned from this journey changed, not because you've found all the answers, but because you've learned to trust the questions, to trust yourself. The question isn't whether you're capable of creating a life aligned with your highest self. The question is whether you're ready to take that next step and keep taking it over and over again. Because the journey back isn't about finding your way to where you started. It's about moving forward into the infinite possibilities that have been waiting for you all along.